Good morning. Devlin Bishop here with you, and welcome to another edition of Devlin's Pirate Radio Show. And thank you for joining us. And before I get started, I don't know when you listen to this. I guess with the luxury of this being on iTunes or YouTube, that you can either press play any time of the day, or you can just literally download it and listen to it whenever you want. You might be listening to this, with your morning coffee, or maybe in the afternoon drive, or maybe just, laying back at night and just taking it easy. Whatever the case, thank you for listening. I appreciate that. The reason I'm bringing this up is because I'm actually doing this episode really in the wee small hours of the morning. And that's probably why I've got a kind of hushed tone. I've got the door closed, but I don't want Mike to hear me, but he's a pretty sound sleeper, and he knows that if I'm talking, I'm probably recording. I've always lately been a morning riser, and the one thing that's great about having this podcast is that you can basically do it any time you want, and that's the luxury of it, If I was on a radio show, don't get me wrong, I would fight to have the same time every time. I think that'd be wonderful. But with a podcast, I can record it anytime I want. And I've done it late at night, early in the morning. Now, when I have co-hosts, obviously I have to work around their schedule. But, luckily I'm open to do it anytime. I'm not one of those people that say, well, I have to do it late at night when I'm at my peak. No, I'll do this thing whenever I have to. And it's a busy week, and I thought to myself, when am I going to do this? And I said, well, I'm going to have to be peppy and do it. And then I think, why am I worried? I'm always up early anyhow. Now, I wasn't always an early morning riser. And I know you have your early morning risers, and then you have your people who want to sleep in. And then eventually time comes and screws that all around. When I first met Mike, I was a night owl. I literally would stay up till 12, 1 o'clock, even though I had to get up for 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'd watch movies or, write or whatever I'd be doing. And I was a night owl. I remember Mike used to go to bed really early. And he would even phone me, at about 9:30 to say, well, I'm going to bed now. I just wanted to say goodnight to you. And I'd say fine, and I'd be up, a couple hours past that. Then ironically, and the funny thing is even when I got up on those days, there were some days I was dragging my ass. I was a lot younger, so you could do that. But, and I'm not a coffee drinker either. I don't have caffeine in the morning unless I have like a piece of cake that has chocolate in it or something. I don't have a coffee. I don't have drink a pop early in the morning or anything like that. A lot of the tea that I drink is like green tea and stuff, so it's non-caffeinated. Though sometimes I enjoy a nice Earl Grey in the morning. But anyhow, I remember, when you were younger, you just had this energy. You could sleep for 3-4 hours. And I've read studies that, yes, it's good to get a long amount of sleep, but I've read studies that your body only needs a couple of hours here and there, throw in a nap here and there. So anyhow, I was like that. I'd go to bed 12, 1 o'clock and be bright up and early. And I was even like that as a kid because my parents had this curfew thing that they didn't necessarily believe in curfews. They said that if our kid can get up the next morning for school, they'd let us stay up as long as we could. And that's probably where I got my night owl thing, because they said, now don't get me wrong, my parents weren't crazy. They said that at the first sign of us fighting to wake up in the morning, then we'd be set a time to go to bed. But if we went to bed at 11, 12 o'clock and got up when the clock said, with no complaints, just a couple more minutes, I don't want to get out of it. If we didn't complain like that, we could do this. And for me, it was easy to do. I'd stay up and watch. I remember staying up and watching Benny Hill with my dad on Sunday nights. Um, NBC used to show it right after the news at 11:30, and I'd stay up for that half hour, watch Benny Hill, then go to bed and be up bright and early. Um, and I would be fine with it. And so I got to keep that. I never complained about getting up early in the morning. When I became an adult, it stayed like that. And as I said, I became a night owl. That just was my thing. While the rest of the world, some of people were going to bed early, I'd put a movie on. I'd grab some writing. I'd still be role playing with my friends. And I'd still be bright and early. And now we're talking, even less hours because I'd be up 5, 6 for work. But something happened around the time that Mike and I moved in together. I don't know exactly what happened, but Mike and I moved in together, and for some reason, I started getting tired, like as the night was progressing. I'd start having nights where I'd go to bed at 10. I'd go to bed at 9:30, and I knew I'd be bright and up early, but suddenly my night owl ways weren't there. And in reality, Mike started staying up late. And Mike, he has common nights where he literally, goes to bed at like 12:30, 1 o'clock. And he's up, 6:30 in the morning. And now, I work retail, so I start later sometimes. I start like 10 o'clock, 11, so I could sleep into 8, but I'm still up at 5:30 with Mike. 5:30 is when we get up right now. But this change happened, and suddenly it was hard for me to be a night owl. Now, don't get me wrong, I can still stay up late if I'm out doing stuff, if I'm out with friends, or if I'm out just doing stuff. Occasionally, if I know I can sleep in a little bit, which I don't anyhow, but if I do, I will stay up late. Like, I can stay up to the wee small hours of the morning and then sleep in. And then there are mornings I wake up and I know I don't have to go to work, and then my body just tells me, stay in bed. And that's the wonderful thing. Your body always tells you these things. And trust your body. If your body has pain somewhere and they don't go away after a couple of days, there might be a reason for that. Your body tells you when you're tired, you need it. Now, the thing with me, when I was this night owl and I stayed up at 1 and got up early, I might be dragging my ass. I might be not feeling the best, even though mostly the days I'm chipper. Like, I'm chipper. I'm like one of those irritating people. Like, I try not to be because I see how other people are, Mike's parents, his mom was never really a chipper person in the morning. She needed a couple cups of coffee to wake up. But his dad would just be like, no, 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 no. And I find myself doing that to Mike. So I try to be good at it, but Mike's just kind of like, I'm waking up and I'm just like, hey, did you hear? I was reading on the news today that this show got canceled or this celebrity passed away. And I try, and he's like trying to process it. So I try not to do that. But on those days when I went to work, back in my city press days, when I'd stay up till 1 and get up early, I was always chipper. But there were some days that I did feel my ass drag and my body was telling me, you got to get some sleep. So anyhow, I remember though, when people asked me how I was, I would answer, good, fine. If I wasn't fine, I would say, well, I'm not too great today. I would never say, I'm tired. The reason I'm bringing this up is because now when I see young people and I ask them, how are you? It doesn't matter what time of the day of it is, 9 times out of 10, they will say, I'm tired. I didn't get much sleep. I know being tired is sort of an emotion, but I can't believe how it's become this epidemic. Because the reason I never said I was tired was, one, because I didn't believe it was actually a proper emotion, you know. It is, like being sick or being angry or something. It's the same thing. But, when people ask me how I'm doing, they're not asking me, oh, well, I'm tired. Not to mention, most times I did it to myself. So I'm not going to tell people, oh, I'm tired, because I was the one who stayed up. Nobody forced me at gunpoint to stay up late. So I find it weird that I'd answer like that, because it's like, well, you made yourself tired. There are cases where you don't, where you have those nights where you just can't go to sleep, whether it's because of the heat or you have things on your mind or you just can't. But even then, I don't consider tired being an emotion, but it has become one. And do a test this week. Ask people how they are. And just measure how many people tell you they're tired. And if you ask somebody under the age of, I'll say 30, you'll probably get it. Because I swear, 9 times out of 10, how are you? Oh, I'm so tired. So tired. It's it's kind of funny. It's kind of, because I often joke, and I shouldn't, because I know some amazing younger people. But I always often joke that, they don't have, their personalities are different than when I was younger. And I'm sure every old person has said that about young people at one time. As I get older, I think it's true, but that could be because I'm getting older. But I remember nobody used to say, I'm tired. It was just like, it just seems like that's the new I'm fine. But the sad part is I'm fine at least might be hiding your emotions. Tired is not really, but it's not really a commitment either. To me, it doesn't even tell you, well, it kind of reminds me of, my mother used to always use that passage, I'm sick and tired, I'm sick and tired, which I thought was always kind of a funny term. It's just like, I'm spent. I'm so tired. It would be awesome though if, as people, we would be more honest. Like, how are you doing? I'm disappointed, or I'm pissed off, and it's refreshing. To be honest with you, when I ask somebody that, it's refreshing when they tell me stuff like that. But nine times out of 10, you're gonna get, I'm tired. I've started napping. It's a weird feeling because there's a time in your life when you're young, you almost feel like, well, except for the younger people, because I've heard that they actually nap now. And it doesn't surprise me because it doesn't take any energy or anything. But when I was a kid, we never napped because, we were like badasses. We were like, yeah, I'll sleep when I'm dead. But as I get older, I realize the importance of a good nap. And quite frankly, it can be really refreshing. And sometimes, again, my body tells me, like, get in there and take a good nap. Now, I can't nap for too long. I hear some people say, I got home from work and I went to bed at 5:30 and I woke up the next morning. I'm like, oh my God. To me, that would be like, I just wasted my night. But I can't sleep for more than an hour and a half, I'll say, in a nap. Because if I do, I wake up so groggy. Like, my head hurts, my body aches. It basically, usually from a nap, you're supposed to feel a little refreshed and, oh, that was good. But if I go past that 1 hour and 30-minute mark, I'm literally like, why did I do that? Why did I do that? And then sometimes when I nap, I don't get to sleep right away because in my head I'm thinking, okay, I can't sleep for too long because if I do, I'm not going to sleep tonight. And the weird thing is you're thinking about it, so it's keeping you awake. Trust me, I know what it's like when you have nights when you have things on your head. Just this past week, I had a really rough week, and I had nights where literally I felt like I was getting 20-minute intervals, and then I'd be up again, and my mind would be thinking about stuff. And I think that'd be funny if people are listening to this because, oh, I couldn't sleep. Let's listen to Devlin's show tonight. Oh, great. He's talking all about sleep and stuff. But those nights are the worst when you know you can't sleep. Your mind is keeping you up. Then there's those moments where you're not sure if you fell asleep because you looked at the clock and about 15 minutes you noticed it moved, but did you sleep in that 15 minutes? Or were you still up? And your mind plays tricks with you. And then you start thinking about, the stuff that's on your mind. It's really a vicious circle. Because as the night goes on and you're looking at the clock and it's like, that moment where it's 2:30 in the morning, your alarm's going to go off at 5:30. And your mind's telling you, I gotta get to sleep. You almost get to that point where you're absolutely crazed because if I don't get any sleep, I'm not gonna get any, and I'm gonna be like horrible. I'll feel horrible all day, you know? And that's the worst part because now your brain's thinking of that, and that's keeping you up even more because of the fact that it really is a vicious circle. And it makes me laugh. And I'm not laughing because I've been through it and it's horrible on those days. But it's funny when you think about it because if you think about it, it's your mind is betraying you. Your mind's telling you you're tired, but at the same time, there's another part of your mind saying, yeah, I can't believe that person did that to me. Or I've got so much to do in the days ahead. And so you keep yourself up, even though your body is telling you, I need sleep. And I know a lot of you can relate that to me because, when I ask you how you're doing, you're like, I'm tired. And that's become a new emotion in our world, So, yeah, sleep makes me, do funny things. But, I'm a morning guy, and so here I am. Believe it or not, I just woke up and I'm doing this show, and within the 20 minutes of my first segment, I'm pretty much waking up because this is how chipper I normally am. I went to bed, I got a good night's sleep. I went to bed just after 11, so that was pretty late for me because I've had weekends where I'm embarrassed to say this. I've had weekends where I've been so exhausted, and I'm telling myself, I'm going to have a good night, I'm going to have a good night. I'm going to stay up a little bit, I got the day off tomorrow, and then I'm literally, okay, Mike, I know it's 8:30 and I hate doing this, but I'm going to bed. And I'm so embarrassed because I'm thinking, am I getting that old? Am I getting to the point where, I'm exhausted. But again, I read my body. There are nights where my body says, don't bother going to bed. You're not going to sleep. So stay up. And then there's nights where my body says, I don't care if it's just past 8. Don't force yourself. And then there's those mixed nights where you're sitting on the couch, putting on a good movie and finding yourself in 15 minutes starting to nod off. And you realize there's no way I'm going to get through this movie. You fight it for about a half hour, but you keep nodding off. What, did I miss something? Why is this happening in the movie? So you turn off the movie, you go to bed, and what happens? You can't go to sleep. And I know you have been there, not just me. You suddenly, once you hit that bed, for some reason, the couch, you were nodding off left and right. I've been at the computer screen nodding off in my chair. And then when I go to bed, eyes wide open, can't go to sleep. It's like I woke up. Anyhow, that's enough talk about sleep and that. And I hope I didn't put you to sleep by saying that. But if I did, I hope you needed the sleep. Listen to your body. That's all I got to say. Anyhow, Christmas is just around the corner, and I'm looking forward to it. I don't know, I'm going to talk a little bit about holidays and getting ready for them more or less. So I'll be back right after this. Hello, I'm back with you, Devlin here. And yes, Christmas is almost here. Okay. It really isn't. It's still a couple of weeks away, but when you do the math and all the work and all the preparations and stuff like that, the time, will go by really quick. Now, I absolutely adore Christmas, and as I get older, it doesn't diminish for me. It saddens me when I hear adults say, Christmas is for kids. I've talked to them about that before, so I'm not going to go into that. But it bothers me because Christmas to me is a wonderful time. I love everything about it. But as I grow up, I think I like the actual preparation for Christmas even more than the actual day. Sure, I like getting gifts. Sure, I like, having nice meals and stuff. But at the end of the day, I like the build-up of it, starting to play Christmas songs, hearing them on the radio or putting them in my MP3 where they start mixing with my other stuff. Or just, decorating the house. And I haven't done that yet, but we're going to be doing it pretty soon. And I'm eagerly excited for it. I decided to do a Christmas segment a little early just because there is so much preparation. And as you know, these are the times where we start figuring out, like, oh, well, I need to have get-togethers with my family. This group of friends wants to get together. I've got a Christmas party here for work. And, suddenly your calendar goes. So, I just wanted to talk about how preparations are. Now, are you a Christmas person? Now, you can usually answer that yourself. But if you're on the fence, when I mentioned that I'm going to do a Christmas segment, at the end of my last one, did you kind of groan a little bit? As soon as I started playing that Christmas song, did you kind of like wince? Well, or when that Christmas song started playing, did you turn it up a bit thinking, oh, this is my first Christmas song? For some of you, you turned it up because it's not your first Christmas song. Well, that probably tells you if you're a Christmas person or not. If you turned it up, you're obviously a Christmas person. And if you went, ugh, when I mentioned it. If you're right now thinking, I'm going to just jump to the next segment, you're probably not a Christmas person. I love the preparation for it. Mike and I have made our own traditions through the year. And when we decorate, we usually decorate at the end of November, early December. We like to have a good 3 or 4 weeks with it up, and it's down almost immediately after New Year's Eve. Like literally, 12:02 on New Year's Eve, we're taking it down. No, I'm kidding. We usually wait till January 1st or 2nd. But we love, putting up the decorations and putting up the tree. We put some Christmas music on, and actually we do a mix because it's still soon. We'll play Christmas music, but, I'll have my regular music mixed in with it. And so, we might have Good Vibrations by the Beach Boys while we're hanging Christmas decorations, followed by like White Christmas. It's nice. I like that kind of mix. And as I go through the weeks, I add more and more Christmas till it's just fully Christmas by the week of Christmas. It's just my way of not getting sick of all this Christmas music. Luckily at Value Village, they play Christmas music, but they add it slowly too. So they don't go like full Christmas right after Remembrance Day. They literally just add it in a little bit at a time, and then might go full Christmas of the week of, and literally Boxing Day, whoo, gone. Like literally, no trace of it. Even I get rid of Christmas music a little bit again. I keep songs like Winter Wonderland around or Jingle Bell Rock. But I feel weird. Santa Claus is not coming to town again for another full year, so like stuff like that will be eliminated. I just let my little, piccadillies that I do. I like to actually do all my Christmas shopping early. I usually try to go for done by December 1st, but sometimes it does go into the first week of December. The reason I do this is because I used to see people who waited right till December 24th. Like literally, they get a kick out of going out and wondering why there's none of the stuff they were looking for. Now you can still get a lot of that stuff, depending on what you're looking for. If it's obviously a niche toy for your kid, you should get it early. Because, if it's the popular toy, it's going to be gone. But I like getting it out of the way so I can enjoy Christmas. I don't want to be thinking about, oh, God, I got to run around. I got one more gift to get. I forgot. And, it's stressing me. I'd rather be stressed the month before. So then I can have nights where instead of saying, Mike, you and I should go out Christmas shopping, I can say, Mike, why don't we make some hot chocolate and watch Frosty the Snowman? and I get to enjoy it. Not to mention I get to plan little events like, if somebody's having a special concert, Christmas concert, or somebody's in a play that's Christmas oriented. I won't be able to say, oh, well, I really have to do Christmas shopping that day, so I can't do that. I can go and enjoy that. Or if I want to have a Christmas movie night, I sometimes like to have friends over and, we'll watch old Christmas specials, like the Judy Garland Christmas special or Donnie and Marie Family Christmas, stuff like that. And, or a nice, It's a Wonderful Life or, Holiday Inn or some classic, Christmas movie or not so classic Christmas movie. That's the wonderful thing. And, so that's why my preparations early, I think, are good, because I don't have to do that. Luckily, Mike is a godsend with wrapping. He loves to wrap, or if he doesn't love it, he certainly doesn't tell me, but he's the wrapper in the family. The only thing I have to wrap is his gifts. Trust me, I've tried to think about it. There was a way I could get him to wrap his own gifts. It would be perfect. Not saying I don't like to wrap gifts, but it's always something that's like, I gotta wrap gifts. But if I could figure it out, how to get Mike to wrap his own gifts, but I figure I still would have to wrap the gifts so he wouldn't know what they were, because I still like him getting surprised on his birthday, and I like that moment. So so he wraps the gifts. So I'm happy about that. So I don't mind wrapping the few that I have to do. And I love to give. As much as I love to get, I love seeing people's faces when you get them something unique or quirky or something they've always wanted that they never thought they'd get, and there it is on their hands. I just love seeing them smile. And what I love is, as we get older, it's less about the gifts and more about the time we spend together. And then, somebody will say, oh, I love that we have this time together. This is my favorite part of Christmas. And then I'd say, well, what the fuck did I spend all that time looking for that gift for? No, I'm just kidding. I don't. Sorry. In the morning I can be a little saucy too. So I never think that. That's just, I'm just being a bad host. Just being a little goofy. Anyhow, but the preparation is always fun, and we got it. See, I'm so lucky to have Mike, because Mike has it down to a science. I would just be stuffing Christmas stuff in a box and that's it. But Mike is very everything's in its place. And, with Christmas lights, I'd be probably, one of those people who'd be watching TV trying to unwrap all the Christmas lights. Mike separates all the Christmas lights and he puts them in individual bags so that the next year, and it's funny because I always say, really, and then the next year he brings out the individual bags, and I think that's a smart idea. But when he's putting them back in the bags, I kind of forget that for a bit, thinking, can we just get this down? But no, it's wonderful because he's so organized like that, and it's great. And it's always fun because, when we put the tree up, we have special ornaments. And those we like to find the perfect spot for. We're not picky. We just put them anywhere we want. But the special ones, we want people to see them. Though honestly, people look at the tree, but only a few people ever actually look at the tree and say, oh, what a beautiful ornament. I like going into people's homes and saying, oh, just like I do when I go into their homes and I like to find that one special thing. I like to find that one kind of ornament that doesn't really fit in, something they may have got as a gift or something that's just dear to them. That's why do you have this on your tree? Why do you have Aunt Jemima on your tree? Are you just a fan of pancakes? Or, I'd kill for an Aunt Jemima ornament. I think that'd be fun. I'm not a big pancake eater, but I think it'd be fun. I like having unusual ornaments. With our ornaments, ours are all mixed. We have ornaments from my family. We have ornaments from Mike's family, and we have ornaments that his grandmother made, and then we buy at least one new ornament a year, which is usually pop culture. Our tree I hate to say it, is becoming very pop culture. I've even asked Mike, does it bother you? And he goes, no, no, no. That's what we are. We're pop culture. So my tree looks like Mondo nostalgia. Um, you'll see some Star Wars, you'll see a lot of Disney, you'll see, you know, a couple of little odd. I think we have a Tom and Jerry. No, we have a Sylvester and Tweety. We have just some weird things. And then that we have certain ornaments that I like having on the tree. I have this little wooden Scrooge that my parents got. I don't know where they picked it up. It was like in a package, and I loved that. I've never really seen a Scrooge ornament, and you can tell, he's got the little nightcap and he's got the candle, and I'm like sad face, and I like hanging Scrooge up on the tree. I Yeah, and then, as I said, every year we're like, oh, well, these, balls are starting to crack, or I hate when your balls start to crack at Christmas. And, you start retiring some, and, some my parents had for years, and they're still in great condition, so they go up. But it's fun to see, like, I love the ones his grandmother made because they're so sweet and innocent. Like, they're made with, like, little plastic. Some are, like, I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like doilies that were dipped in like this hard wax or something, but it's still kind of neat. But sometimes they go up quite a lot, and then we've been retiring some of them because some of them are starting to fall apart. But we always try to get some on, so it has a little reflection of all. I don't know, I'm all over the place. You can tell it's an early morning one. But I used to like when you used to decorate the tree. This is going back to the 70s and 80s. You decorate the tree. It would look absolute gorgeous. You turn the lights on, gorgeous. And then you used to throw tinsel on everything. And I know there's some tinsel abusers out there. I know tinsel's hard to find now, but I think they sometimes carry it at the dollar store. But you throw tinsel on everything and you couldn't see anything. It looked like some weird ass thing happening. I always, as I said, I like preparing early. One of the reasons why is because it's it's a wonderful feeling. I wish we could do our grocery shopping early because we like to always have little snacks around because if we have guests, you can always whip out some cheese and crackers or a little kielbasa or after eights. But then again, if we buy some of those sweets and stuff a little too early, it's like suddenly I'm in the turtles. Like turtles we can't even have around the house because we know that they'll be open immediately. I think when we first moved in together, we were like, okay, let's get some turtles so we can put them out for people. Yeah, right. Those turtles, I think, were open. Well, I'll just try one. We always joke, let's try one for freshness. And then, like, two, three, and then, by the end of the week, I'm like putting my hand in and like, okay, I'm not the only one eating these, I will admit. But so we usually get the turtles. To be honest with you, I don't think we've ever put out turtles because they're our thing. But, we don't have the big Christmas dinners. That's one thing we don't have. We have done like little quarter chickens and done like stuffing and various different vegetables and stuff. But we don't have the big thing, unfortunately. Not unfortunately, because I don't need big dinners all the time. We do that. I get that at Thanksgiving and sometimes Easter. But when my family gets together, we usually now meet on the Saturday before Christmas. We usually always do like, and this goes back to my mother, because we used to open our gifts on Christmas Eve. And we get like a meat tray and some cheese trays, and we make sandwiches up. And then we'd throughout the night be eating sandwiches all through Christmas. And we still do that. My brother, when I go to Whitby, they usually get a nice meat platter, and we'll have little hors d'oeuvres and stuff like that, and a couple warmed up things, and it's quite nice. Like I actually like that better because for me to cook a gigantic turkey on Christmas Day, I just don't think I would enjoy that. I don't know, because there's other stuff I could be doing. putting my feet up, after, a hectic Christmas Eve and just, watching some crazed special. But I like to get as much as I can done beforehand so I can enjoy the holidays. And I'm hoping to have some interesting Christmas episodes for you. I don't know what I'm going to have, but I've got some ideas. And if they don't pan out, don't hate me. And some of them are going to be crazy. I know I'd like to have a guest or maybe two even in there talking about some Christmas stuff. Because I always like hearing other people's Christmas traditions. Or I'm talking to a certain guy that comes out around Halloween a lot to host a Christmas music episode. Maybe featuring some of the stranger Christmas music that's out there. Because there's lots of Christmas music. I have so much of it. And I've got a lot of weird stuff too. Like I can listen to the classic, Bing Crosby, White Christmas, or the Boney M Christmas album. But I also can have some stranger stuff because I watched a wonderful documentary a couple of years back called Jingle Bell Rock. And if you get a chance to see it, it's not for everybody, but if you like quirky documentaries, Jingle Bell Rock basically talks about people who collect Christmas music all year round, but rare Christmas music. I'm not talking about the Garth Brooks Christmas album. You can get at every Walmart. I'm talking about really strange, Merry Christmas from the Flintstones, or somebody doing Christmas carols on a French horn, or just really weird stuff. It could be novelty, it could be comedic. So I was thinking of maybe doing a Christmas episode and maybe inviting a special host in for that. To play some of the more obscure Christmas stuff. And I think that might happen. But of course, December. I'm not going to oversaturate you with Christmas. Some of you probably, that one Christmas one I played in between the Christmas songs, that was plenty. That's enough. That's enough till December. So, but so look for some good Christmas stuff. And honestly, if you're one of those last-minute people thing and you're bitching about Christmas all the time, try organizing and try getting things done early and see if you actually enjoy the Christmas thing. If because there's nothing worse than you're visiting your friends at Christmas and you're trying to find that Christmas spirit, But all you're thinking about is, oh my God, I still got 8 presents to get. I still have to wrap them. I have to get Christmas cards out. There's nothing worse than that. So, I recommend you giving it a shot and trying to start Christmas a little early and see if you like it, because I know it works for me, and I would like and hope it works for you. Anyhow, that's enough Christmas talk. You're probably surprised I haven't jumped on a soapbox today. Well, I'm saving it for the end. So I'm getting my soapbox ready. So I'll be back right after this. Welcome to the final segment of Devlin's Pirate Radio Show. And I know usually I've been jumping up on my soapbox early, but I guess because it's so early in the morning, I decided to leave it to the end. So much to talk about in the world, but I obviously tend to go personally. Trump is the new American president. My feelings are mixed on that. I'm not exactly a big Trump supporter, but again, I find it weird that there's people out there, rioting, having protests and stuff. Yeah, he has said horrible things. He's a racist. He's a bigot. He's homophobic, but till he actually does something or tries to do something, I don't see why people are going out and trashing stuff. They're worried about Trump, destroying America, and the rioters, some of them the riots are getting a little out of control, and they're actually destroying America. There's an irony about that, but I'm gonna let him do what he has to do, and it's not that easy for him to just do things. People got to put that in perspective. he can't just, he can say he's going to do things, but he's got a lot of people to answer to before he can get things cleared. So let's keep that in mind. And yeah, I'll say it right now. I have an image of him being assassinated or an assassination attempt. I don't know why. But even when Donald Trump was running for president, I said, you know, if he gets in, I think we're going to have an assassination attempt. And I'll put it out there right now and see if it happens. I kind of hope it doesn't, because I don't care how much I don't like somebody. I don't ever wish them dead, you know. And I would hate for Trump to, you know, have an assassination attempt. It's just, I'm not trying to be Nosferatu. No, not Nosferatu. Nostradamus. I'm probably more Nosferatu than Nostradamus, but I predict that something bad's going to happen. And the way America has been, I wouldn't be surprised. Anyhow, that's as political as I'm going to get. But I guess in some ways, my topic that I'm going to end this episode with does fit into that realm. I am a gay man, and I'm a proud gay man, as in I'm proud to be gay and I'm proud to be a man. They do go together, but there are times when I'm proud to be gay, I'm proud to be a man. Sometimes I'm proud to be a gay man. Some of you are sitting there, why am I listening to this? This is how this guy talks. No, thank you for sticking with me. I've got a point, I swear. I am a big supporter of being a man. I sometimes dream I wish I was a woman. But overall, I actually like being a man. I like having a penis. I like just being a man. And I don't like man bashing. And I think it happens more and more. And even though women say they don't do it, it's all in fun. If we did the same thing you did to a woman, it would be considered sexist and stuff. So I'm the first one to stand up for my fellow men and say that's sexist, and I have. I've had moments where, even at work, people will say, "Oh, I need a guy to come help me because I have a lot of unlifting to do," and I go, "Why a guy? That's sexist now," Or if they just man bash, like, "Oh, that's so much of a guy. That's how a guy thinks. That's sexist." And I don't necessarily like it. I don't like that happens. So I'm a strong male supporter. Like I'm there for my fellow man whenever I can. As I said, I have my moments that I kind of wish I was a woman, but overall, I like being a man. But this isn't just me talking about how much I enjoy my cock. This is about, there are times when I'm actually embarrassed to be a man. There are times where I hate the fact that I'm a man, because men do stuff that I cringe at. I'm going to give an example, and here's a wonderful chance that I'm happy that even my most loved people do not listen to my show. Like the closest people in my life, I know they don't listen to my show, but I'm not going to use names. But recently, I had a fellow guy who had a very bad breakup. His heart was broken. His girlfriend did absolutely horrible things against him, and they were going on for a lot longer than he had imagined. He gave her the benefit of the doubt, even tried to work things out, but it wasn't good enough. It came to an end. It came to an end, it took some time. I don't have to get into stuff, but, there was some cheating and stuff, but I won't go into details because it's gory details. But anyhow, he just hung on, wondering if they could work this out, and she was showing no signs of wanting to talk about this or anything. So he basically spent months just hanging on the hook, waiting, because he was so in love with this girl. So a situation arose where he finally decided, okay, I'm getting on with my life, I'm moving on, I'm going to think about me now, and it's all going to be positive stuff towards me. I'm not even going to worry about a relationship and stuff. And lo and behold, this woman got involved with him as a friend. But as soon as he mentioned this friend, I could already tell that he was eyeing her in a romantic way. And it was a bad situation. In fact, I would say it's a worse situation than what he was in. And he slowly kept building this friendship, and you see, when I talk to people and I give them my advice, I never tell them what to do. I think that's the worst thing you can do. But what I do is I try to enlighten them and try to get them to see the light. And if they don't, that's fine. Then they're making their own decision, and I have to put my hands up, walk away, and just accept what happens and hope and pray I don't wind up having to, fix his broken heart again. So anyhow, constantly this girl was brought up again, and I would just say, you're young. You should just enjoy life and open your mind. Look around for other people and stuff. But every time we talked, this girl's name popped up, and I just said, do you realize this is a bad situation? And he said, well, I think it is. And I go, no. I want you to really look at all aspects. Keep your eyes open on this one, because I'm telling you, it's a bad situation. I'm not telling you you shouldn't pursue it. I'm just telling you that before you pursue it, realize that this could end worse than the time before. And this kept going and going. Well, last week, I was given the great news that they are a couple now. And it knocked me hard in the teeth. Not because I ever told him he shouldn't follow through, but because I think I gave him enough things to think about to realize that this is the worst possible scenario. Maybe not the worst, but up there. And then we kind of started getting upset with each other because he started acting like he wasn't sure why I was so upset with the situation, and how he told me, well, I could still be honest with him about whatever happens. And I said, no, you don't understand. I don't get that luxury anymore. I can kind of let you know what's going on, but because I just spent months telling you why it's such a bad situation and trying to show you, at least open your eyes with this, I don't get that luxury anymore because of the fact that you have told me that you have basically, you're following your own heart, and I respect that. I will respect what you tell me, but at the same time, you know this is a bad situation. You've told me that when you thought about it, because of things I told you, this was a horrible situation, but I'm going through with it anyhow. The friendship that we've built for years has been challenged by a situation that has only taken a few months. And every manipulative device I said would happen, happened. This woman, everything I said, okay, this is what's going to happen next, it would happen, and you would write it off as nothing. So, now that you two are in a relationship, you wonder why I can't be honest anymore. I can't just say, okay, well, this is what she's going to do next. Because now you have told me your bond with her is stronger than our bond. We both have strong bonds, but I can't, because you have told me her opinion means more to me than you. So yes, we can still have a strong bond, but no, I cannot tell you everything. Not to mention, you've shown me how much my word means to you. So yes, I can open up windows and doors, but obviously it meant nothing because you never took any of my advice. You never took any of my openings because all you thought about was, I'm never going to fall in love again. This girl's right in front of me. I didn't even bother looking around to see if there's any other women, and I can put my cock in her pussy. I want to be blunt like that. And this is the moment that I am embarrassed to be a man, because I know men who tell me they are in horrible situations, but at the end of the day, if they get a little pussy, or if they get a little, I might be talking Donald Trump like here, but I am telling you that they say, well, I put up with it because at the end of the day, I don't want to be alone. I still get sex. And even though I'm unhappy, and you should, the amount of people who tell me this, and these are the moments that I'm embarrassed to be a man. And the reason why is because I wish I had the luxury of thinking with my cock. I wish I had the luxury, but I tend to think with my head. I tend to think with my heart. You know what? I wish I could think with my cock a little more, because I would have been a slut when I was younger. But you know what? I always thought about the situation like, yeah, I could fuck this guy right now, but I know it would be a bad thing. I know it wouldn't end well. And so my head would tell me, I can't do it. I can't do it. And I got these guys now that tell me, oh, well, I'm worried about being alone, and she's like the best thing that I might ever get. Well, I'm sorry, if you only look at one person, this is a huge world. You are young, you're good looking, you're attractive, and you're worried that this is the only person. And if this person constantly throws themselves in front of you, how is she not going to be appealing to you? I'll be honest with you, if me and Mike broke up, and I only concentrated on one person, and this person just constantly told you everything you needed to hear, even though they keep doing little things that, maybe your friend tells you, you shouldn't be, she's playing with your mind because she's doing that. She shouldn't be doing that. She's not showing she cares about you because she's doing that. But you don't care because she's bouncing up and down on your dick or sucking it. And I'm sorry I'm being crude here, but these are the moments that I'm embarrassed to be a man. And because maybe I'm just jealous because I never got to think with my cock. But you know what? I have a good relationship, and I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying I've not done stupid things in my past, but I have thought with my head and my heart every time I've done something. But the fact that you might be thinking a little bit with your head, maybe a little bit with your heart, but at the end of the day, it's basically because you're afraid to be alone. And that, I know guys in relationships that basically say, I'll see the wife treat them like absolute dirt. And I go, do you like that she treats you like that? Like, do you get off on that? And she goes, no, I hate it. It's emasculating. But I put up with it because I don't think I'd find anything else out there. I'm really unhappy. But at the end of the day, there's somebody there. And I think to myself, that is really sad. I'm not saying Mike and I have the perfect relationship, but what I'm saying is that I'm happy at the end of the night that he's there. He doesn't disrespect me in any way. He doesn't, call me names or force me to do things I don't want to do. And I don't, in the same way, do it to him. And it saddens me that I see men, and there's a difference between men who want to do things. You can tell men who, I do this for the relationship because I adore this woman. I love this woman. And you can see the ones that do it because they're afraid to be alone. They don't want to be in the dating pool anymore. And they just like having a nice body next to them when they go to bed. So this situation is absolutely horrible. I've got to now put it up, and because I'm the good friend that I am, I have to smile through it. And, they're going to constantly tell me all the good that they do. And then I just wait for that moment when they start, you know what happened? And then I don't know what I do at that point, because this is the point that I was telling you about, that I can't be too honest, because it's like, okay, from the start that I did not like this person. So how can you now try to ask my opinion on what I think. Until this person proves to me this is the right thing after seeing all this manipulation, like using every trick in the book that I warned you would happen. You expect me to now, like, oh, now I'm supposed to open your eyes to why you two shouldn't be together after you made that decision? This is the reason I'm embarrassed to be a man. When I hear guys just think with their dick and stuff like that, it bothers me. Yeah, I'm a guy. I sometimes think with my dick. But you know what? It also follows with my head and my heart. All three of them work together, and that's why growing up, I always made the right decisions with people I slept with. I honestly wish I was a slut. I wish I could just like, oh, blame it on, well, I was horny and I did it. But I don't, because I thought about it and I go, well, if I get involved with this person, is this a good thing? And even though I'd be like, oh, I really want to do this, I know it's going to end badly for me or them or us or whoever. And I always thought about it. And then when I see guys not thinking about it and just throwing themselves into a bad situation, and I'm supposed to be like accepting of it, this is when I hate being a man, and I'm embarrassed to be a man. Anyhow, that's my rant for today, and if the person does wind up listening to them, they'll definitely know it's them, and I didn't lie here, and you've always told me not to lie. I didn't name names, I didn't name situations, but if you by halves listen to this, you know how much I love you, and I'm telling you it's a bad situation. But I'm not telling you. You've made your decision. I never tell people what to do. I just try to lead them to paths to think about. It's kind of like when I teach improv. There's no wrong answer. We teach in improv, there's no wrong answer, but there's multiple answers. And I try to open them up to, well, did you think of this? Did you think of that? Did you do this? Did you think of that? Right? And then once they think of that, if they're making the right decision, in this case, I don't believe there was a lot of that going on. I believe this was, hey, there's an available woman in front of me. She's willing to give me everything I want. She's manipulated things to get what she wants, but I'm too blind to see it because Mr. Dick is the one who's making the decisions now. I hope you're all very happy. Anyhow, I'm going to get wound up, so I better stop talking about this right now, but it felt great getting off my chest. Anyhow, I'm embarrassed to be a man a little bit this week. I had a great time talking about you. I'm going to go do some Christmassy stuff, and I hope you do too. And I'll see you next week, and looking forward to it.